Hey everyone, this is Pablo with Meditation Amsterdam, and I thought I'd do a very quick clip as a follow up to the last book review that I did, which is The Hero's Journey, based on conversations with the mythicist Joseph Campbell. And during last video, which I recorded in Nepal, I was talking about one core concept, which was the idea of living a mythologically inspired life and what that meant. And just to recap on that, now that the concept has sank in a little bit better and that I've read some additional books around mythicism and archetypes, the mythologically inspired life is one that that is running on a certain narrative that is very inspiring because it is based on these very deep notions that we carry within ourselves that are essentially inherited from evolution and how we evolved in playing different roles. So that if you have, let's say, the big archetypes, the big Jungian archetypes of, let's say, the hero or the magician or the warrior, when you start embodying those, then you feel like you are living this mythologically inspired life. In other words, you are starting to embody something that is greater than you because it is not down to individuals, but it is this common shared past that we are through which we are living in a sense. So I thought that was a very cool idea, the idea of living a mythologically inspired life. And today I wanted to bring forth another quote, and that has to do. It was not mentioned by Campbell, but it is mentioned by the author of the book, and that is because this is a book about conversations with Joseph Campbell, but the actual author of the book will come to my mind in a little while. I'll look for it while I talk. It's on the tip of my tongue, as they would say, so I need to forget about it. And so he mentions this phrase, which I thought was very profound. And the phrase goes, life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. And I thought that was very appropriate. And it helped me define something that I've felt for a long time as I live in the Netherlands. And that is that if you compare the way that people see life in underdeveloped countries. So I come from Guatemala myself, but I've also been in Indonesia, for example, or Nepal. And if you compare the way people see life in these places versus the way that the people see life in a Western culture, you will notice that there is a very big difference between those two. And what I've noticed, and I see it in a very pronounced way here in the Netherlands, is that there's a certain pragmatism to the Western industrialized mind. And that pragmatism is it is the embodiment of the left brain logical problem/solution type of mentality. And so what I've noticed is that that does a great deal of good, and it shows up in the form of external progress. In other words, if you look at a country like the Netherlands or like Switzerland or you name it, these are countries with an enormous amount of material well-being, right? So there's progress, there's wealth, there's industry, there is knowledge being developed at a spectacular pace, and there's a health system, there is security, there is infrastructure, and so on. However, it does come at a cost, because that is again, it's left brain yang type of thinking, and if you focus only on that, then you are neglecting the other side of life, which is the internal side of life. And there's a hunger for it, right? So if you approach everything on a problem solution type of basis, there is no underlying mythologically inspired narrative, as per the previous video, to carry you through. And so even when all problems are solved and all the external things that you wanted to accumulate have now been achieved, you'll very often feel unfulfilled. Or you will notice that many people here run into a burnout, for example, right? And that is because something is amiss. So you have lost the ability to set your direction and create yourself and deal with uncertainty and so on. So I wanted to expand on that, and to me that the big point to take is how to create a balance in your life between those two. So it may be that the society that you live in, if it's a Western society, has lost that balance of seeing life as a problem versus seeing life as a mystery to be lived. And if you start to embody that mysterious side of life, it doesn't need to be in a supernatural or superstitious type of way. It simply is the fact that as you look around you and you go deeply into the moment and you evaluate your senses, you evaluate sounds, the sensations in your body, the pristine and sharp quality of everything around you, and even the temperature in the room, you could find fascination in the most simple of things, right? I know so there's this painter hero of mine called Richard Schmidt, which is, in my mind, the biggest living painting master that there is. And his, I believe it was his wife who, as a painting exercise, would take white rolls of toilet paper and paint them. And that would force her to take an arguably boring, plain, nothing special type of object and yet add enough texture or line or brushwork or color. And she would force herself to take the most plain object and milk the most interest out of it. And I thought to myself, what a fantastic exercise that is. That is seeing life as a mystery to be lived, as opposed to a problem to be solved, because why would you paint a roll of toilet paper in the first place, right? It's a pointless exercise, unless you are, on the one hand, trying to see beyond the obvious, and secondly, doing it for its own sake. In other words, you're not doing it because of a certain outcome that you want to achieve, but you are fully engaged in the process of the doing. I thought I'd leave it at that. I'm going to be doing shorter clips so that I can just share more, because very often I find myself procrastinating just because I think, I need to structure what I'm saying a little bit better, or, be all clever about it. But so the gist of the clip is living life as a mystery to be lived and not just a problem to be solved. Don't live only on a pragmatic level. You have to be pragmatic for sure, so that the external aspects of your life are in order. But in addition to that, you also need to find the mystery even in the most simple things, because unless you stop by the roadside to smell the flowers, there's no point in getting to the destination. So thanks for listening. That is it for today. This is quoted in the book The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell. And it is, am I lucky or what? The first page that I opened, it's Phil Cousineau. Try to show that because it's a bit of a funny name. I don't know if you can guys see it there. Who wrote or rather collected the book and all the conversations with Joseph Campbell. I hope you enjoy that, and I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers.